All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Creative Juice Podcast. Today's episode is a special one. My guests are Eddie and Joel from Team Gauntlet, the UEFN studio behind Kraken, one of the most cinematic and ambitious Fortnite experiences we have seen so far. And their story goes way deeper than just one successful map. These guys have been building together since they were kids, making little games, animations, and edits long before Fortnite or UEFN even existed. That creative partnership eventually turned into Team Gauntlet, and then into Kraken, a game that didn't just launch and win instantly. It struggled, it sat quietly, and then everything changed.
We had an okay launch, and then it kind of just went to zero, and we were like, okay, I guess that one's like dead, on to the next one. Just like overnight, the algorithm like picked it up, and we just like skyrocketed to 70k players.
And then later, there is a moment that still feels unreal. A casual conversation turns into Disney reaching out, not because of hype, but because they were already fans of the game.
Someone was like, oh, these like Disney guys want to talk to you because they love the Kraken. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, they were just like huge Kraken fans, and they were like, we just want like a similar thing for our IP, and we think that would be really cool.
All right, let's jump into the episode.
This is Creative Juice.
I think we're live. How's it going, fellas?
Hey, man. Thanks for having us.
How are you, man?
I'm doing well, man. Appreciate you guys coming on the podcast. I know, I met Joel previously, and I met you guys like back at like Unreal Fest. We talked for a little bit. But man, I love what you guys did with your game Kraken, and we got some new news about you guys be working with Disney on your new game that we're going to get into. So I'm super excited to have you, Eddie and Joel. But yeah, let's just get into it.
For sure.
All right. So before like we get into the studio and the success, like I want to start at the very beginning, because the origin story is honestly great. Like I've actually you guys kind of gave me a nugget. I want to hear more of this. So like you told me you two were making a little games and animations together when you were 8 years old. I love that. Like, can you take me back to the moment of how those early experiments turned into Team Gauntlet today?
Yeah. So me and Eddie have kind of known each other since we were like 3 years old, I think. Yes, a very, very long time. Yeah, we're very good friends. And we used to go around into each other's houses and kind of make little games with like Game Maker Studio, and just like mess around with all these little programs. Like we would make like music with FL Studio, and like kind of like make little edits of us like doing like wizard battles with like all these like cool effects and stuff when we were super young. And yeah, we've kind of like always tried to find ways to work together. Like we started a few side hustles, and yeah, I think like UEFN was just such an awesome opportunity that finally like brought us together, because we always had like kind of successful careers going on, and we were always just trying to do stuff together. And yeah, it's kind of all worked out, and it's super fun.
Yeah, I think the thing that was really hard for us is we've always wanted to work together, and we've had sort of adjacent careers where Joel has worked in visual effects and I've worked in creative production, but it was really hard to have a single moment where we could sort of step away from those careers and be like, okay, now is the time. Because prior to this, we would like 3D print something on Etsy and try and sell that during COVID and stuff like that. And Joel was always giving me little PowerPoint presentations in our living room being like, this is going to be the thing. And it was never the thing. And then finally, yeah, one day we lived together in London, and we were sort of working overseas on visas. So it was like less flexible, but we came back to Australia and UEFN landed, and it all kind of started from there. We had some early success, and we just kept going.
Dude, that is wild, man. You guys knew each other since you were 3. So you guys went to the same school? You guys lived near each other?
Yeah. We did that. Still live near each other, still live together. Can never escape. I've tried many times, but we can keep ending up back together.
No, I think that is fascinating, though, because it's really hard to be a solo developer. And when you're like working with a close friend and like can build together and learn off each other and like know what your skills, each like complement each other, that's like, a secret sauce almost like that. So like that's so wild. Like I want to dig a little more into that. So like a lot of people mess around creatively when they're young, but like very few actually take a leap and build something real. So like what pushed you from messing around with ideas as kids to actually building and shipping real games inside of Fortnite? Like Was there this moment where you realized this could be a studio and not just like a hobby?
Yeah, so I guess like me and my buddy Alex, we were working in London in the VFX industry, so like working on movies and TV shows like stuff like The Witcher, the Pokemon movie, that kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Cool.
our background's actually like film and TV, and we were all kind of living in London, me, Alex, and Eddie, and we kind of ended up moving back to Australia all at the same time, and it was like exactly when UEFN came out. So like we all were kind of unemployed. Well, Eddie was employed, but me and Alex were unemployed, and we were kind of just like, let's just give this thing a go. Like, it's our skill set. Like, we hadn't really played much Fortnite before, so we thought like, I mean, like, I'd used Unreal Engine, but never really played much Fortnite or tried like Fortnite Creative. And I was like, oh man, they're like, you can make games and get paid for it. Like, let's just give this thing a go. Like, we're just sitting around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we made our first game, Rocket Run, and we put like so much effort into it. We spent like 3 months on it, like built all this custom stuff, and then like did this awesome trailer, and then we kind of like pushed it live. And it was, it just didn't really like land with the players, but like Tim Sweeney shared it, and like it was, yeah, like it did well on like Twitter and in the community. And I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna like take over this whole space. And then like it just kind of just flopped. And then we kind of just like had like all these like games just like flopping, and we were just like, maybe we don't really understand the like audience and the community. And then I think we kind of had like a hit with one of our tycoon games, Rapper Tycoon, and we kind of made a bit of money. And then I remember I like took Eddie on a walk, and I was like, dude, I think we can actually like make money here and like make games and just have fun. And like tried to convince him to get involved. And then when Eddie got involved, he's got like that kind of analytical mind that kind of helped us make like consistent money. Cause me and Alex were like creatives, and we're just like jamming and like making these games. But Eddie's like, man, how can we like turn this into a business? Nice. And when we all came together, that's when it kind of started working. So that's.
I think it's so funny that your recollection is you were trying to convince me, because I feel like I was trying to convince you, because at that point you had some success and had gone from like, you guys were just playing with games to you guys had made like quite a lot of money. And I was like, all right, how do I get in on this? And I remember having this important moment where I was kind of being like, oh, how can I get involved? And Joel said to me, I don't know if we like really need like a marketing guy or something along those lines. And no offense to marketing people, but I was sort of like, hang on, I think I can offer a bit more than that. And that kind of motivated me to learn Verse and to really start to study like all the Fortnite players and patterns and what they enjoy, and learning UEFN and stuff, and made some of my own maps. Yeah, there was a meta where there was like kind of like box fights and meme maps. And I had this moment where I was like, I'd never really made something. I'd kind of always been like a producer or like an account manager or like a sales or business development person. So I'd never been a creator, and I was kind of like unsure if I could actually do it. And then I launched these sort of meme maps at the start and immediately got like 10,000 players on one of them. And I think Joel was a bit unhappy with me because he had spent so long trying to do well, and I just did a meme map and it did well straight away. And then I just quit my job, and then we were off and running, and we were like, what's next? And that's kind of how we got into Kraken.
Dang, yeah. that is wild. And marketing is very important, by the way.
It's a good skill set.
Yeah.
I think like what annoyed me was like me and Alex were like super like creative, like trying to like make these like AAA games. And then like Eddie just like came in, and he made this game called like Kitchen Box Fights. Where he...
Oh, well, you gotta leak the name of the map. Hang on.
All right.
God.
Cut that out.
No, it's
but
okay.
it was like your superpower was like oven, and it was like
man, like half of
blender.
The powers didn't even work. It was like you get a spatula and it teleports you, and it just like broke the map. And then I watched people on YouTube playing it, and I was like, man, the UI is like at the total wrong place, and none of this works, but they were into it. I think that definitely taught us a lot about how people actually interact with the content. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think he made more money than we had made in like an entire year on this one. We were like, man, what is this space, man?
Honestly, there's so many creators listening right now that are feeling that too, right? There's just those games, and especially at the box PvP memes time, like a few months after UEFN came out, like a year, there was one after another were coming out. But again, that's like good market analysis. Like, you're checking out what's popular. Not to mention, like, when you're learning this space, like box fights, those kind of maps are really good to start off with, because like, especially if you don't know Fortnite as well, because it forces you to learn Fortnite and building and learning what the weapons players like. Plus, it's just a little easier to create.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of creators, especially some of the newer creators, might not sort of appreciate as much is we've both come from backgrounds where production has a really, really long lead time. Like you're taking months to build something, and then there's multiple levels of stakeholders and agencies and people shipping it, and then you don't even have any connection to the people using it other than maybe some analytics. And then you jump into Fortnite Creative and you're making something, shipping something, and it's cool because the sort of audience likes to record themselves on YouTube playing it. So you're seeing people hands-on playing the game in like, you can almost do the whole thing in like a week. And that was just insane at the start. We just like couldn't believe that level of sort of turnaround to actually seeing hands-on experience and getting that feedback. And I think that really was a big moment of like, wow, we can really make something good with this level of understanding.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the big draw, right? Of UGC and Fortnite, UEFN. It's just like you can make a game really quick and stand it up and get it in front of players. I mean, it's a lot easier to say that out loud.
Yeah, I think back then it was like definitely easier. Now even like we've got like tons of followers and community, and we're still like, man, imagine launching a new game. This is terrifying.
Yeah, everyone has that, right? And that's just it. Some of the biggest teams, they try and they don't go well, but hey, you never know. You got to try and just learn from it, right? So
yeah,
no, okay, that was awesome. Thanks you for sharing those founder stories. That's incredible. So let's get into the Kraken. So like, it did not just like perform well. It exploded in ways most teams like never experienced. Like when Kraken blew up the way it did, like hitting numbers that a lot of full studios dream about. What was your first reaction? Like, did it feel unreal, or did you kind of know this one had something special?
I don't think we were I don't think we knew it was special. Like, it was kind of more of a passion project. Like, we'd kind of rode the tycoon wave for a bit and made a bit of money to keep us going. And we were like, okay, let's try and make a game that we're actually like really passionate about and like the kind of RPG genre and like try and play around with it. And then we kind of launched and it was a bit flat for a few months. Like, we had an okay launch and then it kind of just went to zero and we were like, okay, I guess that one's like dead, on to the next one. And then just like overnight, the algorithm like picked it up and we just like skyrocketed to 70K players. And like, I think at the time I was out with my girlfriend's friends and it was like 3 a.m. because we're in Australia. So it's like the time difference. Yeah. It was like, I was like in the bathroom, like refreshing, like just watching it go up and up and up and up and up. I was like, man, this is insane. Like, I think we have something here.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
wild.
I think we did launch. The launch was okay, but one of the differences on Kraken that maybe we'll get into is we really pushed to actually build a community off platform, and we built out a Discord community, and we had consistent feedback of players there. So we only maybe had between like 20 and 50 concurrent users for quite a while, but they were giving us really powerful feedback. And so when it did take off, we knew that we'd implemented some really important features to help push some. I guess there were some metrics that just got us over like a threshold of like, okay, if you just get this sort of playtime and this level of engagement or response or click through, you finally got to this level that puts you in this sort of like big discovery trending row. But I think ultimately there isn't sort of like a big like, wow, this is special and this is going to be the future. At the time, I was on holiday in like far north Queensland in the rainforests in Australia and had like terrible internet. And I had like one refresh of the browser was like 10 seconds. And you're like, so you just don't know what's going to come of it. It's really exciting in the moment, but I think it kind of adds an additional anxiety of like, what is this going to be tomorrow and the day after and the day after? And so now we've had this moment of excitement. The question now becomes, what could this become? And we were so lucky that it just kept going. And even now,
What I thought was pretty important is even though you were getting 10, 20, 30 CCUs, you still were pushing people to a Discord off platform and garnering a small community. Even with this small community, they were giving you valuable feedback how to improve it, which you listened and acted upon, which then drove the metrics and boom. So like, I think that's really, that's very valuable to share that. Cause I think a lot of people, they just make their game and they see what happens. And if it doesn't do well, you know, that's it, right? Like, I'm not going to make a Discord unless my game takes off. Like I've done that. I've said that before. Right. So I think that's pretty important to share that. Like, you know, how important that is.
We could see that our game was resonating extremely strongly with a certain type of player base. And maybe that isn't like the whole player base, but it's not a game that's necessarily going to appeal to everyone, but the players it does appeal to, it really appeals to them. And I think that's where we thought we were onto something, because we could just see how passionate these players were and how much they were into the creative and the world. And I think that really drove us to keep going. And I'm not sure we expected the mainstream appeal it has, but we could definitely tell that this wasn't just like another box fight, another tycoon that people are playing because of the game loop. There was actually something, special that was resonating. And we only had that because we could just talk to the people and ask them. Yeah.
Yeah, communities, we need a little, the communities are great. They just added those. That's going to be a kind of a nice set. I don't know if you guys have seen any jump from them. You guys got anything? I didn't even plan to talk about this. Do you have anything to add on about communities? Have you noticed anything?
Well, we've set it up. I think we're really excited about the idea. We've I think since we started getting a Discord, talking to people on Kraken, it was a real game changer in the UEFN space for us. And so I think anything related to building a retained audience is super important, because just the longer you're in UEFN, the more you see you can't count on this like discover algorithm and this one thing blowing up. Like, it's just not, it doesn't seem to be how it is. You need to sort of foster your own thing, and the fact that they're doing it on platform is really exciting. But yeah, we're waiting to see. Yeah, no, for sure. I know it just literally came out. So, but very exciting, and that doesn't mean you still need to do a Discord. You don't take that away. I still push your Discords. Anyone listening?
Yeah.
And some days the Discord is like more work than the map. Like, we have some really passionate people, which is like so amazing, but it's also like a totally open community that anyone can join at any time with any sorts of opinions. And so we put in a lot of effort to try to make that a really welcoming space. It can be really hard, but we do our best. And the fact that people care, I think, means a lot to us.
Yeah. Is mods are worth their weight in gold for sure in Discord.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So moving on, one thing your games consistently do well is keep players invested for a long haul. So like your maps always lean into progression and long-term play. How do you decide what players should grind for, and how do you keep that loop fun, like without turning it into like a chore?
Yeah, so in terms of game design, we have a really interesting dynamic in the team, because between Joel and myself, we have really different philosophies about how we think games should be designed, at least. So it's kind of a bit of a push-pull. I think I don't want to speak for him too much, but from my understanding, Joel's design is a bit more sort of like fun and playful and just the pure sort of creativity side when it comes to more like a traditional single-player RPG. You know, you start off as a small town guy and you just have a sword and you go on these epic adventures, and it's very sort of pure and story-driven. Whereas on my side, I tend to design a bit more towards like mobile game design in terms of their economies and their game loops, and it's a bit more like optimization focused. And I think what makes it really good for us is we have this kind of balance where it goes down the middle, where we're both fighting for our cause, and so we kind of land somewhere in the middle. It does lead to some pretty spicy arguments on some days, but as we said at the start, we've known each other for so long, which I think means we can kind of overcome a lot of that. Yeah. Even if we can kind of get into these things, it generally ends up
it's like
pretty
fighting
well.
with a sibling. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think ultimately there's also like a ton of guesswork. Like a lot of the stuff on Kraken, especially when we designed it, there was no blueprint for how this stuff should be balanced, for how this stuff should progress. So we have some decisions we made really early on that are kind of still with us today. Like we have like an infinite scaling leveling system that we didn't really think about. I remember one small conversation where it was like, should we add like more experience per level indefinitely, so it's like constantly exponential, or should we just cap it at a flat amount? And we capped it at a flat amount, and now people are level like 20,000, and we're like, oh, we didn't really expect this to happen, but now it's sort of, this is, I guess, how it is.
New season.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of ideas kicking around. But yeah, I think ultimately we sort of try and balance between just like that classical sort of game progression, as well as trying to do some like interesting game loops to get people hooked.
Oh, great answer.
Yeah, I think, for me, it's just kind of, I've always pushed for like kind of really like strong progression systems, and like you start with like a sword and then you like work your way up and you feel more powerful. And Eddie's kind of like, pushing for that those kind of like loops where it's just like instantly fun and you just jump in and it's more like arcade games. And it's just like this constant like push pull of like trying to get that just the fun for that, which is more fun for the audience. And I think we learned a lot on like when we made a bunch of tycoons, and it's kind of like we learned what was fun about those. Like we weren't necessarily into making tycoons, but we always wanted to make like more RPG type games. But we kind of learned the stepping on the triggers and the gratification and the rewards, and like how can we like build that into the RPG systems and kind of keep players interested and like make it feel really rewarding and fun.
Yeah, I feel like Joel, your stuff is like, you're playing RuneScape and you fish up a level 1 fish or whatever, and then you fish again for a level 2 fish, and you're fishing 2 days later, but you're making progression. And my stuff is like, Raid Shadow Legends, join now and get 1 free legendary roll today. So it's like combine those two philosophies, and that's what our team is.
But honestly, that might have been this, like, your secret sauce, because you have different types of game loops, different kind of things for everyone. Some people may not want to do that long grind, but just want the instant dopamine hit, or vice versa. So it worked.
Yeah, it seems like that, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, it worked. So like, Kraken feels closer to like a playable adventure than like a typical creative map, at least for me. Like, especially when it comes to those like big moments. So Kraken had some incredible boss fights and cinematic moments. I would love to hear the story behind those, designing like those worlds and like the big Kraken encounter. Like how did you pull that off? Those scripted moments inside Fortnite. Like, how did you do that?
Yeah, so I think like me and Alex especially, we come from like the film and TV backgrounds, and like everything's about those big moments, like the big cinematic moments, like the coolest shots. When we first designed Kraken, it was just this empty landscape with like this platform in the middle and the Kraken, and I was like, I just want everyone to like be able to see the Kraken. Like, it always feels like it's like invading the land, and you can see from all angles. And then in terms of kind of designing it, it was like we just kind of built it out of like gray boxes and damage volumes, and we were just fighting these like gray cubes. And then we kind of, the Kraken was like this different monster at first. Like, it was this kind of like weird like dinosaur type thing, and then it kind of, I was like, no, it has to be like piratey like a Kraken. It should just be like an octopus. But yeah, we're always trying to add these like huge kind of cinematic moments. Like, my favorite quest in the game is like you build this sword over like a few quests, and you like kind of go to the blacksmith, and he tells you to get all these materials, and then you kind of, in the final quest in the game is like this epic like takedown of the Kraken, and like everyone gets to watch you like defeat the Kraken, and it's like this big cinematic moment that only happens once every time in the quest line. Mm-hmm. And we just love that. Like, and everyone like is going crazy in the Discord, like, oh, that's so cool, like I want to do it again. But like they gotta like kind of like do the whole quest line to like feel that moment. But it's like, it's cool that's like enough of a reward. Like, that cinematic moment is like, just feels awesome enough that they want to like keep playing. And so we try and add more moments like that. And
yeah, I want people to watch me play.
Yeah.
So that makes total sense, and I want to be the hero too. So like, that's perfect.
Yeah, I think there's some good references that we pull from like AAA games, like one of them being the God of War boss fights, where you kind of naturally transition between the cinematics and the encounter.
Yeah.
It's very cool design. Like, instead of you're watching this big movie scene and then suddenly you're just put there, we sort of try and make it all feel like flowing in between the two. And then also like Assassin's Creed, another good game, has some really good sort of designs of how they present all their locations and stuff like that. So we try and look at elements from those sorts of games that really resonate with us, particularly when we're trying to make like a open world game, which isn't really a typical Fortnite game. We try and look at other games like that.
Yeah, enough. Makes perfect sense. No, great answers. I think you also like were right. You guys were right on the time too of like the boss fight. Like, and this was what I mean. When did this game come out? I mean, we're talking about a year and a half, 2 years,
year and a half, yeah,
year and a half.
Like that. Yeah.
So this was right. This was before. No, not everyone has like the boss fight tag in their time. So you guys were just like at the right place, right time too, as well. And not only that, you just had a great boss fight and a great thumbnail. That thumbnail was amazing.
I think at the time we should definitely give a shout out to Valhalla and the Bifrost team, because they kind of really paved the way on the boss fight stuff and really inspired so many of the things that we made. And we really tried to kind of like look at what they'd done and what was working so well for them and try and put our own spin on it with our own theme.
Yeah.
And since then, it's been kind of funny seeing all these other boss fights. A lot of them will copy like one-for-one decisions we've made, and there was no rhyme or reason why we put something there or made that decision. And then they'll do the exact same thing. And it was like, you guys could probably do it much better if you thought about it instead of just copying our random thing. No. But yeah, shout out to those guys for sure. Because like they were there first.
Yeah, no. Bifrost is awesome. A good friend of Sven, and he's been creating in 1.0. He's been in our community for a long time.
Yeah.
Very, very talented. He was actually one of the top YouTubers. He was a huge YouTuber. Like, I don't know, a lot of people knows about Sven. Go look. But he was doing like other games, and then he would come and like, he wouldn't like publish maps. He'd just make crazy things, and just for his YouTube in Fortnite. That's all he did. That's how he started. Great. It's pretty crazy.
That's funny.
But anyway, so let's move on to the next question. So like from the outside, your update cadence looks incredibly ambitious for such a small team you guys have. So like your uploads feel more like seasons, new zones, new characters, farm areas, quests. How do you plan that out and like that much content in such a small team? How do you decide what to add next?
Yeah, I think a lot of it isn't necessarily planned. It's more like sort of vision based. Like Joel will come up with the sort of vision of the idea in terms of something thematic around a new area or new monsters or a high level story. And then from there, you kind of recognize that working with a small team is so powerful because you can just move so fast if you effectively allocate like the lanes of who's doing what and you don't get in each other's way too much, other than recognizing like where you're passionate in the same domains, and then you actually work out who's doing what and why. You can just go incredibly fast. So we kind of try and do more like a vision-based system where we all have this North Star that we're working towards, and then we sort of divvy up. Like Joel will sort of build out a lot of like the geography and the exciting quests and cinematic moments. I'll do a lot of like the quests and the conversation and the characters. Alex will do like sort of like the system, the boss fight updates. And we've just sort of got this cadence from working together for so long that we can just work like really fast at this point, which is super cool.
You guys are like twins or something.
Same brain.
No. Same exactly. No, that's wild.
Mind. But yeah, just on that,
go ahead. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. We just kind of, I think like every new update, we try to do like a new Kraken, a new biome, like a new island, and the kind of pirate theme where it's like islands. You can kind of just add these islands, and they're all spaced out, so it's like it works well for memory. But like each new update, like we kind of fill the memory, and then it's like a couple of weeks of like trying to get that down so we can like squeeze in something into like the 10 megabytes at the end, like the new update. And we're just trying to see how much we could like squeeze in and like just more content for all the people in the Discord and the community and stuff.
Yeah, every update is that I'm like, okay, we're locked. I'm testing, then we're shipping, and Joel's like, wait, one more thing, and I'm like, okay, now we're locked, and I'm testing, and then we're shipping. He's like, one more thing, and I'm like, okay, it's just like that for the final week.
Yeah, memory has always been a problem in Fortnite, and especially when you build open world big games like yourself. Yeah, that definitely comes into play. I thought, and something you said too, but just like small teams, they're like a lot of people look at like and scared of AAA, these big teams coming in, and small teams are actually a superpower. Look at Roblox, look at Fortnite, like AAA, big studios come in. Some have had success. I'm not going to say that there's no one that has ever had success, sure. But like you can't move at that speed as a small team. I got to wait till AM for Joe to come on, or I got to wait till Monday, and UGC, you can't move at those speeds and compete with two 16-year-olds in their mom's basement that work 24 hours a day. You know what I mean? So, and then also you guys are just like, not those all those structures, they just really bog down what really can make a successful team studio, which I don't know, however you want to think about it, but that's just like the truth. You know what I mean? I'm sure someone's scoffing right now, but I mean, that's what I've seen. I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that, but
yeah, having worked at a fair amount of sort of like agencies and studios, how it often works is you have the founders are like 2 or 3 or 4 people who just like do amazing work, and then they want to expand, and then they hire people out, and it gets like slowly less and less efficient over time because they're trying to like manage each project, yada yada yada. So there is this sort of golden period where you just have those initial people. And I think we try not to overreach. Might touch on this later, but we don't really do a whole lot of brand work integrations. We don't do tons of maps. We try and work really, really hard at the thing we're focused on and not spread ourselves too thin.
Smart. Moving on to the next question. So like success at that scale usually comes with some unforgettable community moments. I know we mentioned community a little bit, but like I know the community means a lot to you guys. Like, what has been the coolest or most surprising reaction from players since Kraken launched?
You want to take them?
You want to take... Well, okay, so for me first, I would say that when we created the Discord, the very first person to join the Discord was this guy called Vault Clone, and he was such a big supporter of what we did and just was like a massive fan. And he is still one of our most active people on the Discord, even now. He's essentially a moderator, just really contributes to what we do, gives us so much feedback, is really passionate about the project. And I'm not even cherry picking like the second or third person to make this story work. He was actually the first person.
That's crazy.
And there's a few other people from really early on who've been passionate about the project all the way through, and that means so much to us. And I think we don't feel like we have to design for tens of thousands of people. We know that there are certain people that this really resonates with, and if it resonates with them, it's going to resonate with other people. So for me, it's kind of like shout out to VoltClone, the very first person in our Discord, and is still with us today.
Let's go.
Yeah, and for me, I think like when we started the community, like Eddie was pushing really hard for it, and he's like, "This is so important." I was like, "Dude, I don't think this is going to help with our success in UEFN, man. Like, it's just the algorithm. Like, don't worry about that. That's a waste of time. We just got to keep making games and like just learn the algorithm." And then like it just turned out to be so valuable. Like once we kind of got that instant feedback and kind of all that, like the super fans like telling us like what they love, what they didn't like. I guess like a surprising thing was like how fun and motivating it is to work with like people around you, like giving you ideas, telling you what they liked, and like even like say on my birthday, like they all like took photos in the map and like spelt out like happy birthday and like sent it to me, and I was like, man, this is so like cool. This is so like rewarding and nice, and like I was like, I want to just keep building like fun stuff for these people, and like it's just...
I feel so grateful. It's like, you guys didn't have to do this. Like, it's so kind of them. Yeah.
No, that's wild, and that's just, I don't know, like communities, they're just invaluable. And yeah, you do have the good, bad comes with the good sometimes too. I'm sure you get some people who are hot, or an update you didn't have.
I'm pretty sure we've been threatened to be like sued by multiple people because we tried to like moderate people, and I will take them now.
Good luck with that lawsuit. No, but just that, like, it's still worth it. And you have those people, those, like, I still have people to this day, like, and a lot of my maps, they were 1.0, so they're not even live anymore. Where's this map? Or like, this was my this and that. You get all those feedback still to this day, and it's crazy because gaming is like an emotion, feeling, nostalgia, like all those things that, like, you know, you remember probably playing whatever, those first games when you play that you were addicted to. You know, like we still have those feelings, and like players are doing that in your game today. So it's just wild to think about that.
Yeah, heads up for us, that was World of Warcraft, which might be influencing some of the map.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of World of Warcraft, especially like sort of classic early stage World of Warcraft, is baked into our design. I still play today.
Yeah, that's enough. Dude, that's insane. Like, there's people who miss their, like, child being born for World of Warcraft.
Yeah. People in our community will be like, come on, Zebs, we have to go play Kraken. And I'm like, I gotta go raid and WoW, man. They're waiting for me. Yeah.
Leroy Jenkins, right?
But yeah, we would like log on like after school. Like there was maybe like 30 people at our school that would just log on WoW, and like that was like our kind of social life. So to see these people like doing that with Kraken, I'm like, that is so cool. Like that's
full circle
really
moment.
It is funny when I'm like, how are they still playing Kraken? We haven't changed any content in 6 months, and then I go and log on vanilla World of Warcraft, which is the same as like 20 years ago, and I'm like, okay, man, fair enough.
Man, no, awesome, man. You guys are crushing it, man. Thank you guys for sharing all this. So let's kind of talk about some, I guess, numbers a little bit. So like when you saw the game hitting 50-minute average session and a massive CCU numbers, like, did that change how you think about retention and long-form design inside of Fortnite?
I think Joel and I have slightly different takes on this because we've often debated how we think we should go about it. For me personally, I never really obsessed too much about any specific metric. It kind of felt like you just make a really fun game, and that ultimately is what wins. You naturally should pay attention to a series of important metrics around, like, you know, your good click-through rate, your retention, stuff like that. But it didn't feel like there was ever a breaking point. Way back in the day, I used to work in Facebook ads and like Facebook ad buying and stuff, and everyone used to be like, what is the perfect thing for the Facebook algorithm? What is the one thing? And Facebook was always just trying to work towards, like, it's just good content, basically. You can't over optimize for that. And so I always just kind of tried to come back to, like, let's not get too focused on any single metric. Let's obviously do the things that we think should be done. But for us, I think, or for me at least, I think the biggest sort of game changer or big moment was what we said before. It was about the community and actually having a sort of external community giving us the feedback and helping us like build for them. I think that was more important to me than any specific metric.
Yeah. And for me, I think it's kind of like, I kind of latched on to playtime and like making these huge worlds because like we had that kind of year where we really struggled and didn't have many players. And then we were just trying to compete with like combat maps with like really short playtimes. And I think like playtime was the one thing that I latched on, that I was like, with our skill sets with like doing like 3D and film and TV, I can like optimize everything really well. I can like build these huge worlds that people can explore and like get those like really long play times that maybe other creators can't because they don't know like how to like really take advantage of UEFN and like kind of optimize everything and just build these huge worlds that people can just run around for hours and do like hundreds of quests and just like fill like all this content into one map.
I feel like this leads to me getting a Discord message every day being like, what if we just add another quest? And I'm like, well, yeah, that'll be a bit more playtime. And he's like, and then another one. And it's like, uh-huh.
You got that lever. Anytime you increase playtime. I mean, it's important though. I mean, you guys are paying attention to it, right? And I'm sure like, do you guys recall anything that you added and it jumped your playtime or anything like that, or a metric?
I think when they introduced the thumbnail testing, that was really good because it felt like that, it would be quite hard to. Sorry, I know you asked about the playtime. It was quite hard to move the playtime metric because of just like the amount of wash of all sorts of players jumping in and out.
50
and
minutes
stuff like
is
that.
Crazy. So that's very hard. Yeah.
So it felt like that was always just like a big thing. If I was going to say, if you're trying to incrementally move one metric, the thumbnail and the thumbnail testing was probably a bit more meaningful because you could kind of just go in and out and see a meaningful difference between the two.
Yeah.
It tested the playtime is just like everything combined, right? So
yeah.
it's just like
it's hard to find out, you know, but like maybe if you added a new feature or something, you saw it go up a minute.
Yeah.
Or something.
I mean, I guess if there was one thing, I would say that our game is designed around like progression, and you save your loadout and you save your level and you save your gold and everything is saved, and we felt that like that was a big part of being able to kind of come back and be wanting to invest a lot of time because unlike a lot of other maps where you just kind of cleared every time, that design I think has contributed to like some long-term success because people keep all their stuff.
Yeah, brings them back. They want to continue the grind.
Yeah, I think people they play like a few quests at a time in like a session, and then they'll come back tomorrow and kind of play some more and try and like get through the whole content kind of thing.
Yeah. No, makes sense. No, it's just interesting. I mean, that playtime is so like very few maps, you know, and besides like even the tycoon genres sometimes struggle to get there. I think Havoc Hotel was one that would get over an hour playtime, which is crazy for like a roguelike. And then like I think Still a Brain Rot, I think they have like an hour and a half or something right now. Oh
yeah. I mean, I came from a world of like websites where if someone didn't leave in like 3 seconds, it was considered success. And so starting to, even when it was like, wow, people play for 10 minutes, that seems like a long time. So yeah.
People from Roblox have that same experience when they come over here because people are on mobile, people are just like real quick to pick it up and put it down. Their playtime is a lot lower, so people are always very surprised about the average playtime for games. They're like, what?
Yeah, I still remember when we did like the tycoons back in the day, you would like start and you'd jump in the map and be like, right, let's stand here and maybe we'll increase the playtime because we're the first player. And then like Spider-Man would join for 5 seconds and leave and you'd be like, damn it, they left. Why did they leave? They're ruining our numbers.
Yeah, don't leave. Just you gotta wait 20 minutes.
Come on.
Yeah, I love like following those first players, and then you kind of see where they go, and then they just leave, and you're like, no, why did they leave there?
Hey, wait, I thought we were friends. You gotta do that though. Follow alongs. I would be in my maps like up in a corner, just like a creeper, just like
yeah, you're trying to pretend you're a normal player. You're like, yeah, it's totally me. Yeah,
nothing to see over here. I'm just stalking you right now, seeing what you're doing.
Yeah,
too funny. So moving on to the next question, like your work really showcases what is possible when creators fully lean into UEFN. Like you both go deep into the UEFN tools. Like what features or systems open the door for the kind of games you build now? Anything that completely changed the way you work?
I think for me, like when we started, it was still like pretty limited, like not as limited as creative, obviously, but still like stuff was kind of like rolling out. And I think when we first released Kraken, like dialogue and conversations is such a huge part of our maps. And I think we're using like pop-up dialogue devices, like to try and, I think we had like 15 per like conversation, and it would like go to the, like, cause we didn't really know Verse UI too well. So we just had like thousands of pop-up devices. So when they released like the conversation device, we just kind of went crazy with that, and we could like make all these characters and like stuff like that. And then another huge one recently was it's a bit like of a secret. I don't know if many people know about it, but it's play sets. There's like, so if you take like a Fortnite prefab and you drop it in the scene, you can you see like the parent actor is like a playset root actor. And I only learned this recently, but you can kind of make sub levels in the map and build like POIs in the level and then kind of save that level as a playset and drop that into your main build as a prefab. And you can put like verse devices, like Fortnite props, and it just let us like.
I didn't know about this. That's wild.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be sharing this.
Yeah. Too late. No, Everyone's
then,
learning about it now.
Yeah,
so
you can kind of have levels within your map that you build. Like, so we could build like, the Skull Island, and it's like just the Skull Island, and you can work on that and launch sessions, and it's really fast. And then right when you're done with it, you kind of bring that into your main build at the end. And that kind of helps us make these huge maps, because we have these, like, if you publish Kraken as is the whole map, it's like the push time's insane. It's like maybe like 30 minutes or something. But if you kind of strip out all these POIs and have them in sub-levels where you just like test them within their own little sub-level and then just save them as prefabs and drop them in later. Yeah, maybe I feel like I could do a video on this or something.
Go to Joel's channel.
There's a tutorial on YouTube that I watched recently, and I was like, damn, this is crazy. This is what I always wanted.
Yeah, I mean, so the prefabs or things that are natively built in Fortnite, they load instantly, and you don't like custom meshes or 3D models. They can take a while depending on the size. So you're essentially taking the prefab, tricking it to be something else, but it still thinks it's a Fortnite prop or asset, like prefab, right? Is that the kind of the idea behind it?
Yeah, I think so. Like, there's no like documentation on it or anything. But
no,
it works.
Well, and that's just creative in general. We've all found these crazy workarounds to be able, people were doing something with memory recently, I remember too, like where they could like kind of trick the memory and publish even though it was double the size. There's always these things that come out. But then Fortnite catches up, or Epic catches up, and then you're screwed when they update it if you don't hurry up and change it. Man, there was something.
Yeah, for a while we were like,
There was
launch on our mobile, and it would like shave off like 50 megabytes of the memory or something. Like for the
there was like a big one recently where they had the layers on the UI, and you could like paste into the UI layers to make your own like amount of layers, and then they like patched that out, and everyone was like, "Are you serious? Like, how can you make a game with this amount of layers?" And then Epic kind of had to roll that back or delay it or something.
Yeah. I know there was something else too. I mean, I can't. Oh, it was the trick where you could, if you did the scroll bar on the numbers, you could go up to whatever the max was. But if you like enter, copy pasted it, you could go higher. Like explosive devices, all those things for resets. So yeah, that was one recently too that the community was kind of. This is fun stuff. I love talking about these little like nuances within the game, and I love people that have never built before. They can kind of like. These are the things we have to go through every day just to make some of these games.
I think if you're into the stuff that Joel just mentioned, you should definitely reach out to Joel, because Joel sends me all of this stuff and he's so excited and it just goes over my head and I get like 50 messages and I'm just like, oh, that sounds good. And then he's like, that was not the response I was looking for from someone. And he has to go and find someone else to tell.
Joel needs a friend.
I didn't want to say it, but
yeah.
I'm like, he doesn't get it,
Sorry,
man.
Joel.
He doesn't get it.
Sorry, man.
He doesn't get it. These business people, man, they don't get it.
Man, this is fun. Dude, I don't know if I've laughed this much in an episode before. It's the cold medicine or something, or you guys are funny. No, so let's shift here. So this, like, you guys have had some really crazy news that's come out recently. I want to dive into that. So like, I want to shift to something that like caught a lot of people off guard, like in the best way possible. Like, I want to talk about the Disney collab because it's huge. Like, how did that even start? What did those early conversations look like? And what was it like building an official Percy Jackson experience with such a small team?
So I think it started at Unreal Fest actually last year. I kind of went over. I've been trying to convince Eddie to go over for like a couple years, but he's always been busy. So it's just been like
you
me
gotta
solo.
Come, Eddie. Come this year. You're coming to Chicago this year.
People need to stop getting married. That's all I have to say.
June's a pretty popular wedding.
but yeah, I was just kind of like floating around, and then someone was like, "Oh, these like Disney guys want to talk to you because they love the Kraken," and I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
And we ended up. I talked to them for ages, and they were like, "Yeah, we love the Kraken." I was like, "Oh, they're just saying that. They haven't actually played it." And then they started like describing like all the features and like the stuff that happens, and they're like, "Oh, we love this part." And it was just like a kind of fun chat.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, maybe we could like, I don't know, do something." And we like ended up talking to them afterwards, and they were just like huge Kraken fans, and they were like, "We just want like a similar thing for our IP, and we think that'd be really cool." And we've kind of always said no to like brand work and collabs because we're like, I mean, in my mind, I'm like, making the Kraken is like my dream. It's like you just get to make whatever you want. I love like pirates and these piratey worlds, and I was just like, man, I don't really want to like make something for someone else.
Yeah.
But like Disney and what they proposed was like, this is awesome. I want to do this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I remember like you did the Disney map, and I was like, man, how did he get that? That's so cool. I want to make that.
Yeah, you got it, dude. You did it.
Yeah, because
ours was an integration. You got a full map, so that's great.
Yeah, and it was cool because I was like, I studied animation at uni, so Disney was always like the top. I always wanted to like move to LA and work for Disney. And yeah, it was just a really cool collab, and we had so much fun, and the launch was awesome. Yeah.
I think
you can't say no to Disney. You just can't.
Yeah, I mean, I think that being said, we've always been really wary of sort of brand and integration work because of our backgrounds. We've worked on the sort of service industry side and the client agency sort of relationship, and we know how tough and how draining that can be. And so we've always been like really wary, especially when the flip side is just making our own thing whenever we want, and it's really popular, and we're just so lucky to be in that position. But then sort of the Disney opportunity, we really had the like kind of, I remember talking to Joel and being like, look, if we're saying no to this, I'm like never talking to a brand ever again because that is a waste of time. But there was just, between Percy Jackson and Fortnite, there's just such a sort of fantastic overlap between the sort of target demographic being sort of like adolescent and the second season of the Percy Jackson show, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, that it's promoting on Disney+. It's based on the second book, which is called The Sea of Monsters. And so it's all about like the sea monsters and stuff, right? Which is just like a natural fit for the Kraken. So there were so many overlaps, and it was just kind of like a perfect fit. So it was like, look, if it's not this, we're never going to do it. And I think what was kind of interesting in the end is when it went to market, we felt like we were getting judged like this was some sort of AAA Disney big production.
Yeah, that'll
and we were
happen.
like, yeah, and we were like, I guess this is a good thing because it kind of almost looks like it could be, but in reality, it's like a thing made in Fortnite just by our little team, by our little Kraken team. So the Disney team was so fantastic. Like, couldn't have picked a better group of people to work with. We were so lucky in that regard because going in, it's a bit harder to know who you're going to land with, but they were just phenomenal. So shout out to them.
Amazing. And just that, we have platform limitations. We also like can only like look at the top games that are very popular, not like super fleshed out AAA Disney title games. Like that's just not what sometimes the audience wants. But like you have the mix. Like I'm not saying that. Like look, what you guys did was incredible. It looks amazing. We'll definitely have a video up showing it. You guys crushed it. But yeah, like it's people. I know what you. I had that same thing too. Like you think people like think, oh, it's a Disney thing that's gonna be this or that. But like you know, it looks amazing. I think it looks great. I mean, especially within Fortnite and our limitations. So you guys crushed it, man.
Yeah, they definitely cared a lot about how it looked, how the characters were presented, like the eyebrows, the hair, and there's a video of the actors playing it, and they're reacting to like, wow, you did my hair right, wow, this is cool, and that was so nice and validating because we did so many rounds on how the characters look, and we're trying to communicate, like, look, these sort of custom characters is not really a thing in Fortnite. Creative people don't really do this, especially to this fidelity, and we've got the executive producer of the show giving feedback on their facial expressions and stuff, and we're out here desperately trying to design game loops in the background that people actually play, and we're like, man, we're trying to make these like mini games back here that they're just like, yeah, looks fine, and we're like, this is the actual game over there, and we're all talking about the face. But yeah, it was really nice how it went to market and seeing the actual actors really like enjoy the depictions because so much work went into that part, even though for the Fortnite playtime, like that's not something that's going to drive playtime, but it actually getting that polish really mattered to us. So that was good.
Yeah, I mean, adds immersion, and that's what they care about. Like they care about the IP, and that's all, not just Disney, most brands, right? They just care about their IP, how it's being represented in game. And you know, it doesn't look like some knockoff version or whatever, right? So, no, that's not easy too. Like modeling, all those things are not easy, and especially at the fidelity it takes to make Disney happy.
Yeah. And in case you're wondering, we pulled in 2 extra people that Joel and Alex used to work with. We had a team of 5 do that project. So we're normally a team of 3, but we expanded our team to a team of 5. So that was the size of the project team.
Perfect. All right. Well, I want to dive a little more into that. So, like, working with a brand like Disney usually comes with a lot of expectations and surprises. Like, what surprised you the most about working with Disney, like either creatively, technically, or just like the pace of the project?
Yeah. Joel, you take this. We're going to say the same thing.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So for me, it was just kind of like, how much they trusted us. Like in my previous career, like VFX on movies and stuff, like you kind of just do as you're told. Like everything is like decided beforehand. You're just like the hands that make the art, and it's like there's not much creativity, and it's just how much they kind of trusted us to just do our own thing. Like I think they were like, we love Kraken, like we trust you guys to like make something awesome, and like there was just a lot more like creativity and fun than I thought. Like I really thought it would be like really locked down and structured, but it was like really, fun and open.
Yeah, like we have the show executive producer, we have the author of the series, we have all these creative directors from Disney. We're like so ready to be told what it's going to be, and then they're like, oh, you can just write the whole story and like write all the characters, and we're like, why are we the ones doing this? Yeah. Like we're like by far the least qualified to be doing this. Like, so I think just, like Joel said, the amount of trust, but also just, the amount of kind of like story and world building and IP based creative we were doing, we were kind of surprised with. I mean, it was really cool. We got super involved with it. Yeah. I could sort of never see the IP in the same way ever again now. But yeah, I think that was a bit of a surprise because they would sort of say to us like, so what's the story going to be? And we would be like, God, you going to tell us? Like, we're waiting. Yeah. And they're like, we're waiting. And we're like, oh, okay. So yeah, that was, I think that was probably the most surprising thing, but ultimately like, it wasn't a bad thing.
Yeah, no, so very smart. And a lot of brands, I think that's where they miss is like, you guys that have created success, you know what success looks like, what it takes. And like, why muddy that or them try to add in their process that's just going to make it fail or increase the chance of failing, right? It's like nothing's guaranteed in this business. But like 100%, that's super smart, and I love hearing that. And I've been hearing that from other brands too. I talk to now, like I think a lot of people are getting smart to that, and like a lot of big brand Disney, like a lot of them have their own gaming studio, right? Like why didn't they just do it, right? But like there's a reason that they're not. They want to go to developers that have experience on that platform, because they're going to have a way better chance of success than them just trying to take that shot.
Yeah, it's definitely such a nuanced platform within Fortnite Creative, and as a creator, just recognizing that you probably know way more than you realize when you're inside the community. And I think even for us, having done it for so long, we sort of still go on Twitter and we're like, man, we have no idea what we're doing. But maybe from other people's perspective, we like really have it put together, but it does not feel that way. So having them being like, yeah, we really trust you, is like, I guess we know what we're doing because they said so. So we now have to get it right.
That's just it. That's all this business is failing as much as you can. And
until you can't.
Until you can.
We did,
you
thankfully.
Yeah. I mean, if you can hold on that long.
Yeah, we scrape by. That's our motto. Just made
Gauntlet. The new company tagline.
Driven by fear.
It's like that, yeah.
Seriously, congrats on that. You guys crushed it. Amazing job. My kids are literally watching that season right now, so it's really cool.
That season's good. The second season is good. Like, objectively, like, really enjoyed it. And I mean, I have no like skin in the game to promote it, but I feel like it's a fun season to watch for sure.
Definitely. No, we're watching right now. It's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, you crushed it, guys. So like, let's kind of talk about. We're kind of wrapping up here. We're almost at an hour already. We've been smoking. Got a few more questions for you guys before you get out of here. Like, you have clearly pushed UEFN to its limits. So like, I'm curious from like a builder's perspective. Like, if you could change one thing or add one thing in UEFN to make lives easier, like, what would it be and why?
I guess for me, it's like probably the same answer as everyone, is like the time it takes to just get into a session. Like if there was like local
time to test,
like local sessions, like just anything that speeds that up, like especially making these huge maps and like the publishing process.
How long did it take for you guys to push an update?
Dude, sometimes like with all like the false starts and failures, like just launching sessions, it takes like an hour. Like it's just there's so much stuff.
I'll allocate like 2 hours of my morning just assuming it'll take that long to get in sometimes. And like it often won't, but you just kind of have to bake into your day like an enormous amount of time. Because if you don't, and then I had all this other stuff planned and it all goes down the toilet, it's like you just have to bake that into your to-dos. And then you like go to the coffee shop to get something while it's pushing and you come back and it's like, do you want to save before pushing? And you're like, oh my God. Just wasted.
But I'll open like Unreal Engine and just like press go, and it's just like an instant session. I'm like, oh, this is so nice. Like why can't we have this?
Yeah.
So hope something's coming soon. I think that would just like explode our productivity. Like it'd be so insane.
Yeah, I think I would slightly different answer, but another super duper common answer is just around discovery and new maps and that sort of thing. And I mean, there's so much said on this topic, but for me, I would just say like, for me personally, look at YouTube as an example. Every time you refresh YouTube, you're getting like new content, new videos. It's all super personalized. You know, if you engage with one creator or one type of content, you're getting surfaced similar content. I feel like if we could have a discover algorithm that was more like that, like I'm not going to get into all the details about editorial and rows and trending. Like, don't have much to say, but I just look at other platforms and I'm like, why can't we just sort of base it off a system like that? That seems like a good system. So it'd be cool if they kind of did more of that. And they've been saying they're hoping to do more personalized stuff, so I hope it keeps going in that direction.
Definitely surfacing content that we want to play for sure. And I think communities, there was something about within that communities where they're going to look at like if someone's interested in your community and the people that play what other games they play, they're going to recommend to the other people that have also like apparently interacted in your community or something. That'll be interesting, I guess. But yeah, there's a lot of room for improvement there.
I feel like their rhetoric is pretty good when they say, like, we want to push these maps and we want to show this. And I'm like, this all sounds good. And then you open up your client and it's like, for you. And you're like, for me? This stuff?
Yeah, box fights. Yeah, the kitchen box fights. What is this?
No, that's good. That should be there. Yeah.
I'm going to go check out that game, dude. I want to hit someone with a spatula.
Oh, my God.
This might be like the inflection point where it takes off, you know? Kitchen box fights.
That's right. I'll jumpstart it again, dude, and then you're gonna have to update that map.
I'm terrified.
Oh man, good times, guys. Good times, man. Like, we got 2 more questions here before we get out of here. But like, before we wrap up, like, I want to make sure people know where to follow you and support what you guys are doing. So, like, where can people find you? And like, maybe you guys have anything what you guys are building next, or what fans should keep an eye out for.
For sure, I'll go first. So for me, honestly, this is so corporate, but LinkedIn is the easiest place to reach me. What a suit. Eddie Benson's my LinkedIn, and like have Gauntlet stuff written all over it. Or just Discord. My Discord is Xximmaturegamerxx. My gamer tag I go by is Zebs. So that's the same on Twitter, but I don't do too much Twittering. Yeah, that's me.
For me, probably just on Twitter at Bestart. I'm always like posting like little videos of creative stuff that I'm making, and yeah, I'm excited to post that stuff again because we kind of been on lockdown with the Disney thing. Like we couldn't really post much stuff. So excited to share some stuff.
Easy, and all those links will be in the description, so you guys can go check them out. All right, to close this out, I want to zoom out and look at like the big picture of Fortnite as a platform. So like looking ahead, what do you think the next wave of breakout Fortnite games will look like? And where do you see Team Gauntlet fitting into that future? I always ask these like really hard questions for the last one, so I apologize. Yeah,
it's such a funny one right now because it's like the brain rot meta, and where does it go from the brain rot meta? But I mean, we've seen
the Kraken sort of brain metas. Rot. Here we come.
Boy, we've seen different sort of metas. This one's particularly interesting because it's like a theme from outside of Fortnite as the meta, as opposed to a specific type of map.
Yeah.
So really hard to know, but it feels like some sort of remix from an existing like indie game or Roblox or Minecraft is quite likely. And if I'm totally honest in terms of Gauntlet, like that's not really our strength. We're not really the guys that ride the trends and the waves and kind of pay attention to exactly what the big trending indie game is and try and remake that. So for us, we're probably just going to try to keep doing what we're doing and making like really cool open world games and yeah, just working towards that niche of community that we know loves our stuff and just trying to build for them.
Great answer.
Yeah. And for me, I think it's like, I think with Scene Graph and all the cool stuff that's coming out, like I'm hoping that more like AAA developers will come in and like make these really cool, like polished games. Cause that's the stuff I want to make, like these really polished, like AAA games, like The Witcher, Skyrim, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like I'm kind of here for that. Like I kind of saw Unreal Engine, like starting to come into the VFX world and with like the real-time rendering, and that's when I kind of saw like Unreal Engine was like, man, they're just updating so much, there's so many cool features, I want to like try this thing, and I'm just here to like learn Unreal Engine and make these kind of really polished cool games, and I'm hoping that like UEFN kind of merges with like Unreal Engine 6, which I think might be happening.
It's happening. They announced it. Yeah, I mean it's gonna happen. I mean, we all know how updates go, but yeah, hopefully 2027 this year.
Yeah. So maybe Gauntlet could be making like actually like really cool Unreal Engine games, and like if there's just like less janky barriers of the UEFN to like kind of overcome. Yeah, but it's super exciting.
Great answer, actually. Yeah, fellas, look, that's an episode. This was super fun, man. You guys are a great hang. I've hung out with Joel, and we had a lot of fun, brother. And you didn't show up, Eddie. So this year.
Well, that's when it really gets exciting.
Yes. No, you got to show up, man. It's a good time. And look, and what I love about that story is you came to Unreal Fest and you met people from Disney, and it turned into something. And I think they just announced Unreal Fest like a few days ago. It's in Chicago. Like, and creators, if you can, I know, like if you don't have the funds or something, definitely submit for like to talk, because then I think they do pay for like your hotel and like access to get in, so it's a lot much more affordable. But if you can make it, it really is. If you're serious about this business, it's really smart to go and meet people. So
for sure, yeah, I think I'll definitely be there this time. We'll both be there. If you come up and say hi if you recognize us at all. I wouldn't expect anyone to necessarily, but we'd be very flattered and happy to talk to anyone.
Definitely, no, say hi. Everyone does it. Like put their little logo on a shirt, and then it happened. There's a lot of people like, oh. Because most devs don't put their face out there, right? Or it's like a little PFP, right? You can't like, tell. And I have the same thing. Like I know so many people in Fortnite creative. Even when I go, I'm like, like what's your Twitter name? Oh, it's you. Hey,
Right.
So no, it's very true. But yeah, hope to see you guys at Unreal Fest very soon. Seriously, congrats on all of your success, from making hit maps to insane IP collabs that people could only dream of. You guys are crushing it.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having us. Man. And also to anyone who's listening, thanks for listening to our story. We really appreciate it.
Thank you,
thanks
listeners,
so much for having us, man.
Yeah,
and
man,
dude,
anytime.
Matt, I just want to say, like, you were the first guy I ever messaged in the UEFN community when I started, and you actually,
really?
You're the only one to reply. And you were like, really giving me like, you were like helping me out on like my thumbnail and like giving me tips and stuff. And I was like, oh,
hell
man,
yeah,
this guy's so nice. So
crazy, cool, man. Look, I try to respond to as many people as I can. So,
yeah,
look, dude, thank you for letting me know that. Actually, that's crazy.
Thanks for replying. Yeah,
of course. I'm never. If someone better catch me if I'm ever in that, like, ever think I'm too cool for school. You know what I mean? I hate the people that act like that in anything, and especially in this ecosystem, because we all need to kind of be together in some ways and help each other out, and everyone's at different levels, and I get that. And we don't have infinite time, so it's really hard. But like, you have to, like, I don't know, like I didn't get here because, like, just from myself, like, it's my community that helped me get here. You know what I mean? And so, like, I never understood that type of behavior. So no, man. And plus, you guys are just like, look, not a lot of people want to come out like that, hit games and give advice and like their little tricks and things. Not a lot of people want to do that. So, like, thank you guys for coming on and sharing that with the community, because I'm sure a lot of people are going to pick up some things from this episode. So thank you guys.
Awesome. Love that.
Well,
thanks.
Merry Christmas. I didn't want to say it. I told Eddie we're not going to do any, but it's coming out on the 24th. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Whatever you celebrate. Hope you have a good holidays, and same with you fellas. That was such a fun conversation. Huge thanks to Eddie and Joel for coming on and being so open about the real story behind Team Gauntlet, Kraken, and everything they have learned along the way. If you are not already following them, make sure to check out Team Gauntlet. All their socials are linked in the description. And if you enjoyed this episode, please do me a favor. Follow the podcast, subscribe on YouTube, hit that like button, and if you were listening on audio, leave a positive review on your favorite podcast app. It generally helps out more than you think. See you in a fortnight, which is in 2 weeks, and remember, don't hate, create.